So with the new Atlantic City update coming out in December, there is something I wanted to have a little bit of a rant about. I've seen a lot of both of like hate and love for it, but I think this new being able to walk out of the vault at level 20 isn't going to have the effect that Bethesda intended. It seems like all the moves they've been making lately has been to make the game a lot easier for new players. I mean, if you just look at Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, you'll see a pattern, which is a bit of a kick in the teeth for the players who've been here since the beta, but whatever. The issue now is this going to help or hinder new players? I don't think it's actually going to help them all that much if they're brand new to the game. I'm talking not ever picked up Fallout, no games with perk card builds, anything like that, no familiarity with builds whatsoever. Jumping 20 levels is great for like the older players who are familiar with the game's mechanics and perk cards, etc. But for newbies, to jump straight into a game that's been out for half a decade now, being handed a build, weapons and armor, and having access to seeing public events on the map from the start, it's going to be a lot all at once. It's going to be very overwhelming, I think, for brand new players. And that's not even including the billion pop-ups from the early game quests. Take, for example, public events like Rad Rumble or Scorched Earth. Brand new players are now going to see these straight from the start. They might be tempted to try their luck without any knowledge of what these events are, especially if you're seeing a whole bunch of other players all at that same event. They're going to think, oh, well, I'll go there. I'll go and do this event. I'll go see what this is about. But the thing is they're not going to have any knowledge of what these events are, the difficulty level, or what their objectives are, any of that. The footage here is of my character, which was with very limited exploring at Moonshine Jamboree, and ignoring the the nightmare-inducing gulper poses, you can see how tanky those gulpers are for a level 20 with basic pump action shoddy. Now, can you imagine someone brand new to the game being swarmed by ghouls at Rad Rumble, or gulpers like this, not being able to jump out of their way because they don't have marsupial, breaking all their gear, not being able to repair it, running out of ammo, running out of stims, and dying repeatedly? That's going to be annoying as hell and off-putting for anyone. Moving on to the build, the loadouts, we can't overlook the fact that Bethesda's the one who's come up with these builds. Like everything, Bethesda have its way of breaking more than they fix. And I say this as someone who loves this game and has thousands of hours, and I've been there since the beta. Hell, I met my partner in this game. You know, I've made so many friends. I adore this game, and I get disappointed every time Bethesda kind of screws with shit. But that's neither here nor there right now. But I would not be surprised if, with this new update, once it's live, something in the perks is broken because they've messed with shit again. No doubt, like, the builds will do the job for a time, but let's be honest here, those builds aren't going to stand up to the ones that the 76 community have come up with, which means that newer players might not feel like they're as effective as they could be, and if they're brand new and not familiar with the mechanics of the perk card system, they might be disheartened, overwhelmed, and quit the game early, which means, once again, it's going to be up to the older players to fix Bethesda's mistakes and help the new players work out a build that isn't, like, ineffective. It's one that they like, it's one that they can be comfortable with, and it's one that's not going to get them killed at every single event. Which is why I get really pissed every time Bethesda decides to do something that fucks over their OG player base, because we're the ones who've been helping keep this game alive for half a decade now, helping new players with advice, gear, resources, camp builds, character builds, what have you, and finding new ways to work around the bugs and keep the game enjoyable. I mean, I really hope all of this goes smoothly, but if history is anything to go by, it's not favouring us. So, yeah. Cautious optimism, I think.